right, roll the intro. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Creative Point of View podcast. My name is Ethan.
Noah.
Marquis.
And we talk about creative stories and how we see the world differently. So today's topic, we're going to talk about our stories, how we got to where we are. And there's a lot of intertwinedness between all of our stories. Because it's crazy. We've only been friends, all three of us, for what, less than 6 months? If that.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
But
less than. No, you moved here in
I moved here April. Yeah.
So yeah.
But
6 months.
So I met you
Last year.
Yep. I followed your Instagram a long time ago because you posted stuff with him, he posted stuff with you. Chris Scott, I knew you from seeing his work, Nina in Nature and all that stuff. I remember seeing you, but I didn't know who you were until Aaron introduced us. I was like, I feel like I know you.
Were we at church when he introduced us, or were we at a coffee shop?
Honestly, I can't remember the first time we met.
I guess we'll wait for when he's on the podcast.
Yeah, we'll talk to Aaron about it. It was either at church or did we go out to eat or something?
I don't remember. It's crazy. I met Noah at church.
Yeah.
And I probably met you at church. Most likely I met you at church.
We probably met at church the first time, but
don't sleep on the church creatives.
How do we want to go about this? Do we want to start from the beginning of each of us? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm down with it.
All right, no, you go first. Talk to us about how I don't know how you got to where you are.
Okay. So, man, we got to think back to high school. I got my first camera, I think, when I was a sophomore.
That was last year, right?
No. No. I don't even know what year that was, but I think I got my first camera. It might have been 2017. But I started just kind of fooling around, taking pictures just with my friends at first. I remember I didn't get my driver's license till later on in high school because I was a slacker. And so I had my parents drop me and the homies off downtown, and we would just walk around in a big group, take photos, and I remember, everything was fire, oh, that's a fire angle, that's a fire shot. And then when I look back at it, it's whoa.
What were we thinking?
You just saw the world differently.
What are we doing? Yeah. So that's kind of how I got into photography, but I've always been into drawing and art and stuff since a really young age. So I guess that's kind of where the artisticness in me really originated, was way back when I was in preschool and kindergarten, because my mom used to do art in college, and she went on to be a teacher, but she's always been artistic. So I feel my artistic side comes from my mom. And so then hey, shout out mom for the one time.
Can't forget moms.
Yeah. So yeah, I always had an interest in art, and I took all the art classes in high school and stuff. And then when it's getting to the time when you're about to graduate and just what do you want to do? I'm well, I could go to college to be an artist, but I know how hard it is to apply that to the real world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard to make a living.
You haven't been exposed to all the avenues of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, of how to make money, how to market yourself as a business, your services. So you don't know. You think it's you could, you'd either be the next, greatest painter, or, illustrator, or it's
right.
Nobody would know who you are.
Right. And so basically I thought about what direction is the future going? And everything's digital these days. And so I'm what can I do digitally, with my skills? And so that's when I figured out I should go into graphic design, because it's using, my artistic abilities, but on a digital platform, using software and stuff. And there's a lot more job opportunities in graphic design. And graphic design encompasses so many different things. It's everywhere. Everywhere you look, everywhere you go, there's graphic design involved in it. Whether it's packaging or posters or billboards or handouts or like stuff you see online, like on social media, or like even animations like used in videos, like commercials and stuff like that. It's just it's everywhere. Like even on like your guys' clothing too. And so like I was just like, graphic design is it. And so like I went to college at DMAC and just got a 2-year because like I didn't want to take like a huge risk and go to a university where I'd have to pay a lot of money if I didn't know 100% that that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so like when I was in college, I was like, I was starting to figure out like where I belong in graphic design and like kind of like the types of projects I like to work on. Like I'm really into branding and stuff like that. Like coming up with brand strategy for like businesses and like clients and stuff, but also like helping them form their brand identity. Stuff like that is like really fun for me. And yeah, just like also combining graphic design with photography. Because as I mentioned before, like, I like taking pictures too. And so, yeah, like that's kind of like how I got to where I am now. And
so where are you now? Like tell people what you do and kind of like what you enjoy doing with your graphic design skills.
Yeah. So right now, I'm working at Lutheran Church of Hope, as a graphic designer. And like currently, like I do a variety of things for them. Like I help them with their print stuff. So like cards, brochures, handouts and stuff that you would typically get when you like go to a church, and like signage, posters and banners and stuff like that.
Yeah.
More physical things, but then also like more digital things too, like announcement slides and like some social media stuff. Haven't really like got too much into that yet, but the goal is to hopefully get to a point where I'm doing more like content creation for them as well. So
For sure. Yeah, man. Killing it. I mean, like even with some of the stuff you produce for like Hope Worship and stuff, it's definitely a very unique spin on it, and you bring a lot to the table with that. But yeah.
I got a question for you.
yeah.
Where do you want to be in 5 years with graphic design?
Tough question. Bro.
That is a tough question. I don't know. I'm a spiritual person, so like I would say like I'm willing to be wherever God is calling me to be, but also like I think like if I were able to choose like ultimately where I want to be, like I would love to be like a creative director over something. And if that's at Lutheran Church of Hope, then that's great. But like, if that's like me being an entrepreneur and like starting my own business or my own graphic design, like agency or studio, or something I love to do is like, design like graphic tees and like stuff like that. So if it's starting a clothing line and being like a creative director over that, like I think that's where I ultimately want to be. Mm-hmm. I'm into music a lot and like clothing. So like, even if it wasn't my own personal business, like I think being like the creative director over like a clothing company or like in the music industry, like that'd be dope too. And so, yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna just go with where, go with the flow, where the Spirit leads me. Like if doors are open and like I feel like it's right to like take those opportunities, then I guess like I'm open to anything, to be honest. But yeah,
that's dope, man.
I like that. That's a good answer. That's fire.
You're killing it in the game so far. I mean, like honestly, there's a lot that you've accomplished in a very short amount of time. So super dope to see that come along. But my story is kind of like similar like yours. I loved drawing growing up. I would draw, I would paint, I would do all the artistic things. And then when I was 15 years old, my dad got this Nikon DSLR I don't know, like it was like probably like a cool Pix, just like point and shoot camera. And I was like, oh dang, this is a real camera. Fun fact, it was not a real camera, but I was just like, dang, like this is so cool. So I started shooting with that all the time. And then my sister got married, and her photographer was one of our family friends. And like I saw his gear, I was like, man, that's super dope. He let me take a couple photos, kind of helped me along understanding what, like, you know, how to expose an image, how to compose an image, and just like kind of like helped me learn a little bit. And then for Christmas that year, so my parents got me a Canon T1i, like one of the old original Rebels. Yeah. And that was a killer of a first camera.
That was my first camera.
Yeah, it was a killer of a first camera. I actually got, I think it was like a 24 to 70 or like 20. I don't remember what lens it was, but a cheaper, like cheaper, like upper level lens. That wasn't a kit lens, from the guy that was teaching me some stuff. Shot a ton of photos, shot, you know, like at basketball games, shot at, you know, like family events, and just did all that. Ended up shooting a couple like second shooter weddings, which I'm sure the photos came out trash, but like I had to learn somehow.
Right.
I never took on any weddings on my own, because I would have hated to ruin someone's day with letting like a beginner shoot their wedding or whatever.
Right.
But then that was while I was in high school, and then I graduated high school, didn't know what I wanted to do, still loved like doing all that, started dabbling in some video. I was like, man, I would love to do this. But from where I came from, there wasn't anything like, you know, really creative going on in the town. Small town of 7,000 people. If you wanted to be a photographer, you'd work at the one photo agency in town that would shoot like all the events or shoot for the newspaper, or you'd shoot weddings. I hated weddings. I hated the press, and I didn't want to work for that agency because I thought their photos sucked. Yeah. So I was just like, to me, that's what I thought those were my only options. And so I ended up going to school for music, not design, not video, anything like that. I went for music performance, wanted to be a singer-songwriter and a worship leader, and did that, loved it, was an athlete in college, played baseball. And while I was at college, that's when I started leaning into more just being creative with my camera. I would shoot a lot more content, and that's when doors just started opening for me in all sorts of areas. Started shooting a lot of basketball games, which led to me getting connected with some high school recruits that were like going D1. And I would shoot video, shoot some reels, like highlight tapes for them, send it off to people. Started getting my name out there a little bit in very small senses, but just started grinding a little bit more, kind of started my own like sports media business that people contracted. And it was a lot of fun. It was hard work, but it was a lot of fun. And so I ended up leaving college after 1 year, only went for 1 year. And then I started traveling, doing sports media full time. I would work, whether it was odd jobs or at a grocery store or doing whatever during the week to make money to pay the bills. And then I would travel to whatever game within driving distance. And even if it wasn't worth driving distance, I traveled everywhere. And it was awesome. It was a lot of fun, but it wasn't sustainable. And then 2020, I was actually on kind of like a tour doing a lot of different basketball photos. And I was in Arkansas for the high school state championships, where actually I was like going to school. So all these guys that I had watched and filmed and grown relationships with in high school were now playing for a state championship. And I was like, man, I got to go see that. So I was in Arkansas, and I was actually in the barber's chair getting my hair cut for the last time whenever COVID hit. And they're like, yo, the borders are shutting down. And I'm just like, what? This is crazy. I'm like sitting there getting my hair cut, and I leave the barbershop, and my parents ended up calling me, and they're like, yeah, like you should probably see about like coming home like tomorrow when I was supposed to leave like in a couple days. And they're like, you should probably see about coming home tomorrow because like COVID's in the USA and the borders are shut and everyone's freaking out. Crazy times.
COVID is, yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy how that was like almost 3 years ago now?
It was, man.
Feels like yesterday.
I know, yeah.
It's
I can
weird.
remember that day like clear as
crazy.
mud. It's crazy. And within like a couple hours, I was there to shoot a high school basketball game, and then they canceled the tournament, and then I went back home, and I was like, all right, what does this mean? Had to end up quarantining like everybody else, and that's when everyone decided to not let sports media outlets, film games anymore. And so I went back to working at a grocery store because I didn't know what else to do. So I worked at a grocery store for a while, and then COVID was still happening. Like, I mean, it feels like we're still in COVID. Like I hear cases now and then, and it's just like, man, forget that's still a thing.
We're kind of in a season too.
It's
where
creeping
like
back up a little bit.
yeah,
creeps up.
it's crazy. But I ended up getting offered like an internship that turned into a job at the church I was going to. And so I was their creative director, which really all encompassed everything that was like design, helped, with their worship and production, and did everything from print materials to social media to their live stream to, photo and design, everything that happened. And I was there for over a year, almost 2 years. And then Aaron Ward, who is the production director at Eternity, found me on a Facebook group. And he's like, hey, I see you're in Iowa. Would you be interested in this position? And at first I was like, nah, not really. I was like, I'm content with where I'm at. Mm-hmm. And kind of like you, like I just kind of opened myself up to whatever God wanted me to do, and ended up opening that door to come to Des Moines. We had conversations about it. Like I remember talking to you on the phone. I was like, man, I don't know if I should move here or not. You're like, you never know what could happen. And now, 9 months later, we're on a podcast together. We, hang out. Got to meet you, got to build a lot of close relationships. So that's how I got to Des Moines, got to be the film director at Eternity. And yeah, it's crazy. Like sometimes it's like it is living the dream, because there's nothing right now in this season that I would rather be doing. Now in 5 years, don't ask me that question yet because I don't have an answer yet.
It was coming. It was coming.
I don't know what I would want to do in 5 years yet, but like right now I'm content with where I'm at. Love doing what I get to do. And it's awesome, man. And get to hang out and meet new people, cool people.
Yeah, definitely. That's dope. That's dope.
I would say in 5 years though, man, like I would love to either be back doing sports media if the door opens to that, or to continue what I'm doing like at a church, be like a creative director and kind of almost grow like a ministry to where it's, it's something that even though like, you hear like Elevation and Life Church and, crazy large scale churches, but something that like Des Moines might see and be like, kind of like Lutheran Church of Hope, whether it's like something in Des Moines or something back home, but like something that community can really lean into and be like proud of.
Like I feel, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you kind of want to like create like a culture and like a movement within the church.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would say that's pretty accurate. Cause like, honestly, with like how I grew up, church looks a lot different now, church to me,
100%.
Where I'm going, it just looks a lot different. So like, whether it's creating a community that people can come and experience God in like in an authentic way that's real to them, but also that way, like my gifts reflect doing that, like whether it's film or photography or design or directing or songwriting, whatever it is, that my gifts are like being used in a part to do that.
Mm-hmm. Des Moines needs that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's needed for sure.
For sure. Yeah. All right, what about you, Marky?
Oh, man. My story, unlike you guys, it didn't start with me drawing. It actually started with music. So that's when my creativity started. It started with me playing the drums, and then it moved to other instruments, and then I got into sports, and all that went out the window. For me, music went out the window. all together. I didn't want anything to really do with it. So played football. That was my sport. Went to college, played football. At the age of 21 is when I got my first camera. It was
That's literally my age right now.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I'm not that
You're the old man.
I'm
in the
not
room,
that
bro.
old. I'm not that old. I'm not that old. I'm still in my 20s, so I'm still young. But it was a Canon T6i. I'm pretty sure my parents bought it for me. I'm pretty sure it's like, why do Marquis want a camera? But I had saw some pictures from a photographer on Nat Geo, and I love traveling. I love outdoors. I was like, you know what? I want to do landscape photography. So that's how my creative journey really jump started when I was 21. While I was still in college, I started doing landscape photography. Ran into Chris Scott, who plays a big part of my creative journey. While going to a church called Cityscape, and he was like, "Dude, your landscape photos are dope, and I feel like you can push it a little bit more with your creativity." He was like, "You're taking pictures next Sunday." I'm like, "What?" No
Got
way.
you out of your comfort zone.
Got me out.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
It was crazy. I was like, I'm not taking pictures next Sunday. No way. Like, I don't know anybody here. This is my first weekend at this church. So I hopped in, took some photos. I'm like, they was all right. Probably trash when I look back at them now, but he really coached me up. So kept doing that, fell in love with it. That really helped me see a different side of church. Because I never really, the most I volunteered for at church was back home. I was working cameras. So I guess I worked cameras in a production sense, but got in church, was taking pictures. Chris Scott was like, "Hey, come on this shoot with me." Just a random shoot. And I think we were shooting, I can't remember the model, but it was just a style shoot, shot it. And I was like, this is fun. I love it. Fell in love with it, kept doing it. And it kind of just translated into a lot more avenues within the creative field. And then I saw Elevation Film. They come out these short films for like big holidays. And obviously, Chris is my best friend. Chris is my brother. So we're sitting on the couch, chilling one night, and we pull it up. I'm like, you know what? That's just picture put in motion. Like, how much different is it from taking photo? Like, you can still get the same vibes, but it's just a picture in motion. And I was like, that's sick. That's dope. I really like that. So filmed the Easter. We filmed the Easter video at Cityscape. That was my first ever video that I actually like. We storyboarded, sat down.
Do you still have that?
I still got it.
You should repost that or something.
I should repost. It's trash.
It's not trash. What do you mean?
But
Might have
that's
to drop-
something. That's something me and my homie Chris put together. That was his first video
That's
too.
awesome, bro.
That it was. Yeah, it's special. It holds a special part of my heart because it kind of sparked something in me to like, you know what? Filmmaking is my way. Filmmaking is the thing I love to do. So that kind of sparked it. And with me having an entrepreneur mindset, I was like, all right, how can I make money using what I love to do? So I ended up starting a real estate company, and that ended up turning into a big thing. It kind of took over my life. And then I got hired at Cottage Grove Church. Shout out Cottage Grove as their creative and communications lead. Did that for a while. And then now I'm just out shooting real estate. Got
Hustling.
a wedding.
You're just hustling,
a wedding,
bro.
Yeah, just hustling.
Yeah.
But I do it in a way that I just love what I do.
Yeah.
Like having a camera in my hand, you can't put a finite amount of money on that. Like, yes, making money with doing what we do, what we love is cool, but I think I would still do it every day if I did make money from it. You know? So yeah, that's my story in a short form. Yeah, it just sparked from different influences in my life and a different Chris, Elevation Film, seeing them, that kind of sparked me into wanting to be a filmmaker. And then now I get a chance to work with dope people all the time on different commercial shoots, on just even smaller productions too. So
That's the first time we met. You just said a commercial shoot, that Bobcat shoot that we shot with Aaron. I pulled up. I was like, man, I know this guy from somewhere, but I know where.
Yeah, that is the first time we met. The first time we met was with our homie Aaron, and we were shooting a commercial for Bobcat.
That was a fun day.
That was a fun day.
I mean, I was just a grip. I second shot a little bit for Aaron, but I was just gripping for him. So like that was cool to see what he did.
I feel like it was cold that day.
No, it was hot.
It was hot?
Yeah, that was back. I literally was on here a week, not even a week. And Aaron's like, hey, you want to come on the shoot? And I was like, yeah. So either like last week in April or first week of May.
That's the first time we met. We met doing what we both love, filming. So yeah, that's my story in a short form, and I left out a lot of details, but
I think we all did.
you guys have found out some of those details within
You left
our
out how
lives.
you met me, bro.
Oh yeah. How I met the man, the myth, the legend, Noah. So yeah, me and Noah actually met. How many weeks was I at Cityscape? But I was probably only like 3 months in.
That's kind of crazy.
Not even that. And Noah pulls up, and I think
I remember it vividly.
Paint us the picture, Noah.
Paint us the picture because I have a horrible memory.
You know how I remember?
How?
It's my 17th birthday.
No,
yeah,
way,
bro.
We did a shoot actually. Maybe we'll pop the OG picture up in this video.
Do it.
Literally, it's crazy. Like, it's my first time visiting Cityscape, and I'm with my girlfriend, and it's my birthday. And I pull up, do the thing, and like I see Marquis with a camera, and like I was like, "Oh, what's up, bro? Like, you take pictures?" And I'm like, I saw Cityscape on Instagram. Like, the photos were really sick.
It was vibey.
It was vibey.
Shout out Chris Scott and shout out Pastor Cam.
And I need to talk about Chris too, because he also has a big influence on where I went in like my journey too. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But I just remember like after church, like connecting with Marquis, we were just talking forever. And I'm like, I think we basically just got down to like, what are you doing after this? You know?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, nothing, man. Like, but we were talking about like photography, and I'm pretty sure you just were like, yo, you want to go shoot or something? Mm-hmm. And then we went downtown, and like, I just went in the outfit that I wore to church, and like Marquis was like taking my photos for my birthday.
That's rad, bro.
Yeah. And it was sick. Yeah.
And I think I got one printed for you, didn't I?
Yeah. And then this dude literally printed me like a huge, like, I still have it in my room, and like, I don't know where to hang it up. It's that big. Like,
it is big.
But like, at the time I was working at Johnny's Steakhouse, just like during like, I think it was college, just trying to like, make some money. And then like Marquis like, yo, like, are you at work right now? Like, I'm about to pull up and give you something. And then like I walk out of Johnny's Steakhouse like for a little bit, and then like Marquis like, here you go, bro. And I don't know if I think it was like Christmas time or something. You're just like, here you go.
Yeah, I don't know what
I don't know
if
it was my next birthday or what the heck it was, but yeah, man, Marquis awesome.
That's crazy, man.
It's my brother. Yeah.
Noah has a huge influence on my creative thinking. He's pushed me in ways I don't think anybody else could have pushed me to think creatively.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's crazy like how all our stories like intertwine.
And like also, so like I met you last summer at that like camp.
Yep.
And you were there for like the music, like you doing the music, the worship and everything. And like I remember we connected like talking about like, creative
I don't remember
too.
if I had my camera with me or if you I think I was wearing like Yeezys or something. You're like, oh, dope shoes. Cause I was only there just to play keys. You know?
Right.
And then you're like, oh, dope shoes or whatever. And then I remember we hooped on the same basketball team.
Yep.
This man can hoop, by the way. He's a little baller,
A
bro.
little bit. I'm not the same as I once was. I'll put it that way.
Did we I think we lost in the championship.
Did we?
I don't remember if we lost or won, or I don't remember what. I think we lost in the championship.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
But it was a good time. I mean, yeah, you were like the only dude there that I was like, oh man, like this dude is pretty dope. And got in contact, stayed in contact, even got together last year at the Iowa State game. And yeah, man, crazy times.
And then when you were moving down here, like, or I think you had reached out because you knew I lived in Des Moines.
Yeah.
You're like, yo, there's this job opportunity in Des Moines.
Yeah.
And I know you live there, and I don't know, like, if I should do it or not, you know? And so you're asking me my thoughts on Des Moines. I'm like, yo, I think it's a good place to get connected to, like, a lot of people. And there's, like, probably a lot of opportunities, like, you know? And then it's just crazy how, like, everything comes together because you take the job. At a church that Marquis started going to. For probably a couple of years then.
Yeah, we started going in 2020, January 2020, right before COVID happened. Then COVID hit.
That's crazy.
Then, you know, churches closed down.
Yeah.
Shout out Eternity for opening right back up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's crazy. Literally, that just blows my mind.
It's like I remember when you said you got the job at Eternity. I was like, oh, that's dope. Like, a couple of my friends go there. One of them's like my really good friend. Like, keep an eye out for him.
Yeah.
And like, you know,
within 2 weeks, I knew him.
Like 2 weeks, y'all met, and it wasn't even at church.
It was
at that shoot. It's just God's plan. And
honestly,
now we're sitting at this table.
It's crazy.
You know?
Almost not a full year later, but almost.
Yeah,
a year later.
I mean, not a full year, but like, it's crazy how much things have come, like, and gone, and just our story. I mean, hanging out, like, whether it's at Jethro's or, you know, watching at your place.
Like, watching football.
Freaking good times, bro.
Yeah.
It's really cool how, like, God's just kind of worked everything out. And I mean, ultimately, like, yeah, you could blame it on, you know, whether it's coincidences or not, but man, everything lined up how it needed to be.
Yeah.
And
we're here.
It's dope, man. All right, let's end the pod on what's one thing that inspired us this week. Man, I gotta think about this one actually. I'm trying to. Man, I'll say okay. I'll do this. One thing that inspired me this week was actually a week ago, but one of my close friends. He'll be on the pod soon. His name is Thaddeus. You know Thaddeus? He looks like me, coincidentally enough. It's kind of funny. He's just got a bigger mustache, but we get together and write music. We hang out, we write music, we have a good time together. We just connect really well. I was able to take his family photos last Saturday with him, his wife, and his, I think, 3-month-old daughter. And that was really cool. Just like, not just shooting the photos, but just like seeing their like genuine love. And, you know, and that sounds like really cheesy, but like, it wasn't a planned shoot where it's like, all right, I'm posing them. They're just like, come over and just shoot photos in our house. And it was fun. And just seeing that, just seeing the authenticity of just like him really like loving his daughter. And what mostly inspired me creatively was he wrote a song for his daughter for when she was born. That's cool. Really dope song. And he worked really hard on it. And I know he like holds himself to like a really high standard of just like, whether it's music, whether it's singing, or he's also creative. He like designs lights and he actually does some video and AV production. But yeah, just seeing him like pour into something that he's passionate about, and especially since it was like for his daughter, I thought that was really dope.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, I think that's fire.
Yeah.
I love Thaddeus.
Thaddeus is a good dude, man.
He's a dope guy for sure. What about you, Noah? What inspired you this week?
Well, I feel like I always got to think like when it comes to this question, but this is going to be basic, but like when I scroll through like Pinterest and like, you know, Instagram, like on Instagram, you can like save stuff now. And then like Pinterest, like there's always like just cool vibey stuff. So yeah, it's basic, but like I be seeing a lot of cool stuff on there that whether it's like just like a random like iPhone picture, that's like kind of like cool. or like someone's like graphic art or like typography or something that I see. I don't know. I'll save it and I'll put it in like a little collection or something and
It's
like,
dope.
yeah, look back on it if I need inspo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Marquee.
Yeah. You had some really dope like concepts, like mood boards that you posted this week. So
Yeah.
if you're not following us on Instagram, especially follow Noah. I just say he's got the best Instagram out of all of us.
He definitely
Follow,
does.
follow all three of
100%.
us.
Yeah.
Noah has the most vibiest.
Can we
Honestly.
put like our at names up?
Oh yeah, they'll be like in the show notes or whatever. We'll link them below. I
For
don't know.
sure.
We'll figure it out.
I'm not the video like editor here, so
We'll figure it out.
yeah.
No, you're all good. Mine is a little controversial since my guy's always controversial.
Oh, I know it. I know it
Uh-oh.
already.
The one and only Kanye West.
Uh-oh.
Or Yay,
Or Ye,
as they say now.
formerly known